G'day PMC type people, it's your boy Burb, coach of your New South Whalers. This week I'm bringing you our Week 3 match against a fellow Aussie in what I will dub as the battle for the Sydney Harbour Bridge. Unfortunately, Gypsy couldn't be here for this, and that means that this is like second place really. Unfortunately, really depressing. The more I think about this, the worse it sounds. Why are we fighting over a public good? Oh well, never mind. Let's get into this builder. Sharp boasts a very powerful looking roster. Tapu Bulu, Skarmory, Darmanitan, Slowbro, Umbreon, Quagsire, Ditto, Mega Kang, Scolipede, Krookodiles, Delphox, up against Lando T, Mega Sizz, Shaman, Slowking, Entei, Nalola Ninetales, Komoa, Ordino, Garbodor, Circuitry, and Slurper. This is definitely going to be one hell of a match. And the reason I say this is because we do not have a Darm answer, and Darm is spooky against our team. The way I went about building this, I think that every time a coach is involved in a heavy loss, it's important to see what their weaknesses were. And what I decided was Sharp's biggest issue is slower playstyles. And if I can really limit that offense, I can potentially get him with some of my slower Pokemon, for example, my Slowking, Landorus T. However, this is probably a controversial builder in the sense that there's a massive... This may be a controversial team builder in the sense that I'm actually going to describe my opinion on mock battles in draft format and how that this week it was a little bit detrimental, but I always do appreciate the help. I think that the team you bring is ultimately up to the coach, and if you think it's going to work better if they bring, you know, X combination of Mons than Y combination of Mons, you really have to make that decision yourself. No one else can make that decision for you. And this week I had probably the most mocks I'm going to have all season, which is about 3. Blitz was away at, I assume, a curling tournament. I asked my good pal Don Mallano for a mock, who is a very talented ICBA coach. He's a freak in the format. He's built for Chimp a number of times. Is very reputable as a strong, solid player. Also Bronson, a fellow PMC coach. And Blitz did give me the final mock for this matchup. The mock against Blitz was probably the best I played in. I think he let me win a little bit just to get my confidence up. But the initial build of this team, before all the mocks, I have one version of, and it's still missing a set on it. But originally it was U-Turn, Bullet Punch, SD, Roost, Mega Scizor, similar EV distribution. I really wanted it for the Mega Kang because without Fire Punch, Mega Kang can't really touch Mega Scizor. Next up we had Komoa with Flamethrower, Stealth Rock, Drain Punch, Poison Jab. I needed rocks in this matchup. I wanted to limit a Darm to as minimal as switch-ins as possible. Every week I emphasize the importance of hazards, especially when you have a big threat that is weak to rocks, is susceptible to spikes. Bring them. Limit that Darm. Darm has to take recoil unless someone wants to run Fire Punch. No one wants to run Fire Punch Darmanitan. Flare Blitz hits 10 times harder. I know it was his attempt to try to punch a hole in my team. Next up we had Smackdown, Earth Power, Block, Defog, Landorus, because the win con this week was specifically designed around Slurpuff. Slurpuff gets access to Energy Ball and Belly Drum, and I knew that Slurpuff had the opportunity to potentially sweep him this game, and I really wanted to focus on Slurpuff and making Slurpuff shine this week. It is one of the free agent pickups from last week. Next up, we had Assault Vest, Slowking with Future Sight, Psyshock, Skull, Dragon Tail. Lastly, we had Cardinal Sinner with Spike, Seed Bomb, Gunk Shot, Pain Split, Rocky Helmet. It was mainly designed for Special Bulu. I thought Special Bulu looked amazing in this matchup, and I really wanted something to help counter it. And lastly, as pre-mentioned, we had Slurpuff with Energy Ball, Belly Drum, Drain Punch, Play Rough. It kills me looking at this build now, knowing that on the second rendition of this team, I built it at level 100, and I maxed the IVs out, because on this build it's 29 IVs. Yes, it's a waste of EVs, but I knew that when I was prepping, that this was how I was going to remember the Belly Drum number. Alright, let me go through the mocks. The first mock, I played Dom twice, got 6-0'd twice. Yes, anyone can get 6-0'd in format, and the main reason for that was I could not beat Semi-Stall. Now, did I think Semi-Stall was going to be the most viable option in this matchup? Hell no. I didn't think Sharp was capable of playing Semi-Stall the way that Dom did, but I'm very thankful that Dom brought that team. It made me realize how weak my team was to Skarmory, and that was very important, and also as well how I struggled to break down his defensive options if semi-stall was the case. That's why on the second rendition of this team, which is what we end up running, there's a few very niche tweaks, and these niche tweaks is what makes this team work a lot better. So, were the mock battles worth it? Yes. If I brought this team and Sharp brought semi-stall, I got absolutely fisted. Dom, thank you very much. Appreciate the help as always, bud. Best of luck for the rest of your IVCBA season. After these initial mocks, realizing I cannot KO Pokemon, I knew that, one, I either have to go back to the drawing board and rebuild the whole team, which I really didn't want to do, or secondly, let's ask Koz for some help. Koz didn't see the team at the time. Koz, as always, is a very good player. He's exceptionally strong in matchups that are slower, because as far as my knowledge is, he's a very good stall player, from what I've heard from Keegan, and I saw that his infamous Naganadel stall team, which was pretty fun and hot to see in OU. The Mega Sizz becomes U-Turn, Bullet Punch, Toxic, Roost set. The main reason for this is the same EVs as before. As I said before, best Mega King answer. U-Turn is nice for a bit of chip. It makes sure it two-shots Umbreon and Slowbro. Toxic's there for Umbreon and also like Darmanitan or Delphox if we predict the switching, and that's very important. It's a very standard looking sizzle, there's not too much more to go over. The next up was Komodo, was the only set that didn't change at all between the initial set of mocks and the second set of mocks. Flamethrower, Stealth Rock, Drain Punch, Poison Jab, Komodo. Komodo did it phenomenal in the mocks. Even though I got 6-0'd twice, it had a really nice sort of job. The Flamethrower was for Skarmory, two-shot Skarm. Stealth Rock was because, as I mentioned before, I want to minimize the amount of switching his big threats have. Drain Punch also really helped nicely. Poison Jab was for his Bulu. Really didn't want to give Bulu any opportunity this game, especially if it was going to be special Bulu. Now the next up was Cardinal Sinner, Garbodor. Changed the set a bit. Why? Seed Bomb was really nice, but I needed Pain Split and Toxic just to stall out the game with Garbodor a little bit longer. The Light Clay Ditto in the mock that Dom brought really just stuck from my head. We have seen before was Geo's infamous Quick Claw Ditto. These are the advantages of mock battles. So sometimes some of the sets you don't think were going to come, do come. I think that really will help in the upcoming game. So thank you again very much, Dom. Next up was Slurpuff, Energy Ball, Belly Drum, Drain Punch, Play Rough. I stuff up the EVs on this. For whatever reason, I make it 31. It's a misgen at level 50. It's an odd HP number. Double check always, guys. I literally was in call with Leo at the time. I said to Leo, I really hope I've checked everything, made sure to have the Z Crystal on my Landorus Therian. I double checked my EVs at level 100. I forgot about the IVs. When I saw the HP number at level 100, I thought it was right. At the same time, when I saw that the Slurpuff was max IVs in every department, I knew there was an issue because from memory, when I built the initial set, it didn't have max IVs for that very reason of making sure that the belly drum number was going to be perfect. That was not a mistake on my Jenna's part. My Jenna this week was very kindly Aaron2420. Next up, we have Mr. Test Piffy. The Zokotree, Thunderbolt, Volt Switch, Energy Ball Sub. When we had did not come. Therefore, Skarmory became a big issue. As soon as Zokotree came, Skarm was no longer an issue. And the main win con this game was Slurpuff, as mentioned in the first build. Substitute is really nice because it stops Ditto from coming in and copying. Energy Ball T-Bolt means that I cannot be reverse swept with Zokotree, which I think is a very important memo of this team. Didn't want to get reverse swept by Ditto. And finally, EVs. Now, from memory, +1 Zokotree sort of OHKOs any form of Quag with Energy Ball. It goes through some variants of Rindo, like the Bold set, and that's why it's so special attack invested. Timids for the Bulu. Nothing else really to say about General Bulk. Finally, last up is Landorus Smackdown E-Power, Knockoff Defog. 244 HP, 36 Adamant Attack Lando, to make sure I can take as many hits as possible. Speed F, 4 Speed, 4 as well, just general creeps. The next set of mocks I had against both Bronson and Blitz went a lot better. I played my Zokotree flawlessly against Blitz to really garner momentum that I didn't even need to bring Slurpuff in until the very end. And against Bronson as well, it was a very similar story. Advantage of the mocks did help to an extent this week, but it only helped in safety in my own head, if that makes sense. I could probably have brought the original team and done well, because I thought that that was going to be my best bet if Sharp brought a standard sort of team. But this team I was pretty proud of to take in. As always, I want to give a massive shout out to the front office, which I think I've done so already, being this week Bronson, Cos, Blitz, and Mallano. I also want to give a massive shout out to the Jenna and Fabulous Recorder. I don't think I shout him out in my battle, so I'm going to make sure now to double up on it. Thank you very much, Aaron2420, my good pal, my good friend. Oh gosh, Aaron2420, or AARON2420, as the ladies like to call him. Hopefully on Sunday we can get the W against Sharp, but let me know. Are mock battles worth doing? Do you guys enjoy seeing this sort of evolution of a team and the way in which I construct it? And until next time, peace.